Hello, welcome back. Let's put this in the ether. In this video, I want to talk about the pros and cons about capitalism, right? Alright, if you know me by now, I'm pro-capitalism. But the thing is, I want to show people the pros and cons because apparently people are still debating that either they're for capitalism or they're against capitalism. Like everything else in life, there's pros and cons, right? There are good side and there are bad side of things, right? Right, like everything in life, choices, right? There are good choices and there are bad choices. It all depends how you make your choices. But one caveat I want to make is this: the pros and cons are determine what type of person you are, right? There are two type of people in this world that we're living in, right? Masters and slave, leaders and followers, right? You have to determine what type of people you are, what type of person you are, right? If you're a leader or if you're a follower, right? These two people make a really big factor on their decisions, right? Depending on who you are, it determines the outcome, right? If you're a leader or follower, right? Let's start by the first one, right? Pros, right? Pros, it gives you a lot of choice in life, right? In a free market economy, they give you a lot of choices of what to choose from, right? You have so many choices of boxes of cereal, right? So many choices of batteries, so many choices of brand, all that stuff, right? You get all these unlimited choices because you have the luxury to choose whichever you want, right? But the bad side about choice is that when you get too much choices, it's hard for people to choose. This is what I want to come back to leaders and followers. Leaders, the way they think is that the quick responders, leaders or masters, right? The way they think, the way they process information is quick. They know how to make choices real fast. They know how to make good choices real fast. The thing with slave and followers is that they rely on others to make choices for them. When you give them the opportunity for them to make choices, the slave and the followers, right? They usually take a harder time to make choices. They think over, right? They usually make the wrong choices. It's hard for them to pick one side, right? That's the wrong side about being a follower and a slave. This is why I'm telling guys out there: do not be a follower or a slave to anything. Be your own leader, right? That's the wrong. This is why people out there keep promoting: do not let people think for yourself. Be your own decision makers, right? Now, the concept about having all the option is that, right? If you're a slave or a follower, you have a hard time to choose which one you want. You have so many options, right? Why do you think In and Out, the limit, if you're in the West Coast, there's a burger chain called In and Out, and they only specialize in certain things, right? They only specialize in fries, burgers, and shakes, right? And cheeseburger, and that's it. And their menu is very limited, so they give you a small choices to choose from because when people they understand that when given a lot of options, it only slowing down the process. It only slowing down the line. It make the lines longer because people are just standing there taking their time trying to decide what is to choose from when there's only a few amount of choices. Now imagine if In-N-Out burger menu was more broader. Now the slave mentality people, the followers, now they're gonna have a hard time to choosing what do they want to eat, right? This is why these companies admitted all these decisions, all these small menu options. This is why certain restaurants are more successful than other restaurants. This is why certain restaurants only have a smaller menu, like a small like Michelin restaurant, right? They don't have all these options for all these extensive choices, right? They only specialize in what they make because when you are a restaurant, right? When you have all these item on your menu, that means you have to factor in all those overhead costs for all these ingredients. And what happens if all these ingredients doesn't sell? Then you have waste. You have to throw it away. Now, if you limit your menu option, only focus on the things that you offer, like burgers, fries, right? It requires fewer menus, fewer ingredients, meaning less costs, less expense you have to worry about. Right? Most of these restaurants out there that are failing right now, they have a lot of overhead costs, they have a big menu, and they're throwing their money away. They don't understand it. When you have a big menu, you're throwing money away because all the things that's not being sold. Right? And not only that, this is why restaurants have blue plate special or special. Blue plate special is just special of the day. It's just basically leftover ingredient they have to get rid of at the end of the week. because they can't sell it, so they have to put them in a menu that's like in a soup. So they put all the ingredients together and they sell it at a lost cost, right? This is what restaurants do, right? But going back to what I was saying, that this is what happened when you give a people a lot of choices, a lot of options, a lot of things on the menu. They make it harder for them to choose. That's one of the bad side about capitalism, right? Now let's move on, right? Another pros that capitalism allows people to have is that it allows to lift people out of poverty, right? You go communism country, it doesn't have that kind of stuff, right? It doesn't allow people to get. It don't allow the poor to put them in a better position in life, right? That's what capitalism do. It allows people to play in the game so they can be richer out there, right? Communist people, you cannot be rich at all, right? It's all the same. Socialism, all the same. You cannot be rich. You cannot move up. You cannot move down. This is why places like DMVs or union jobs, people tend. It doesn't motivate people when people get paid the same wages, right? This is why unionized jobs, right? People don't work as hard as they need to. They don't work as hard as they have to because they're all getting paid the same wage anyway. So what's the purpose of working harder than the other person, right? There's no incentive to do that because they're getting all the same wages. That's what happened in the communist country. Now, Now, that's why you want to have economy or economy and society that allow people to lift themselves out of their position, right? It incentivizes people to do better in life, right? It get them out of poverty, right? Now a con from what? Let me look at my list right here. I have a list right here. The con is under the wrong person, it leads to greed, right? It allows to lift people out of poverty, but yet again, unvetted condition, a person who's out of control, right? A sociopath, a narcissist, whatever it is, it leads them to greed and corruptions, right? That's the bad thing about communism. I mean, not communism, capitalism, right? They see the money, and if depending on the type of person you are, right? It motivates people to sometimes do bad stuff, sometimes to do things in their own interest. That's the bad thing about capitalism, all right? But let's move on, all right? The next one, all right? It promotes innovations, right? In a free market economy, what does that mean? That means anybody are able to put in, to play, right? They allow competition. That's what a free market capitalism is. It allows competition. When there's competition, right? When there's competition in the market, it allows other companies to be better, try to outdo each other. What does that do? They innovate, try to outperform. When you innovate, you have a better product. You most likely be a more successful companies, right? Your revenue goes up, right? Because you have the better product. It allows company to generate new ideas, to think outside the box, to explore in a different territory, right? That's what I mean when it promotes innovation, right? Due to competitions. That's what capitalism would do to you, free market economy. Now the downside to that, it has the capability to monopolize technology, right? It hinders like Microsoft, right? Like when a company gets too big, like Microsoft or like a drug company, right? They patent their technology and they don't let other company to do it. Right, that's the bad side about capitalism. They patent your company and don't let anybody do it, or don't share the technology, and only that one company share the technology. And what does that do? It create a monopoly. Now the customer, right, which is bad for the customer. Now the customer only has to depend on that company that provides it. Right, that's the bad thing about a bad side about capitalism. Right, it promotes monopoly when it comes to like technologies and stuff like that. Right, now let's move on to the next one. It funds causes. What does that mean, fund causes? It funds charity, right? It allows people, right? Because it's a competition, because people could participate, right? Right? Because people can get into it, it allows outside sources, like an individual person like me, to have a fundraiser, like selling candy, selling cookies, to fund a causes, to fund my church, to fund my organization, to fund my a scholarship, to fund tuition, right? I could do that. People in the community could come do a bake sale. And with that bake sale, they could raise the money to fund their causes, to fund the charity, right? That's a good side by capitalism. In a in a capitalism, right? In capitalism like Cuba, you can't do that outside of the block. You have to be sanctioned by the government to do that. Any kind of business, it has to be sanctioned, right? Any kind of business, any kind of thing has to do with money, China, all that stuff. You need license, sanction, and all that stuff, right? We could do it here in America, right? I mean, we some business we have sanctions because we have to get business license. But when it comes to like small towns and stuff like that, small people like lemonade shop, we could do that depending on what county you are in. Like some county, they have stupid ordinance, which is totally contradictory to the American freedom, right? But we live in a free capitalist society. That means we can have like churches can have a bake sale to fund our causes. Now, a downside to that is that our causes that we could do depending who you are, right? Depending how nefarious you are, now, no matter how cynical you are, it could all lead to bad things. It could lead to bribing politicians, right? People have a fundraiser to bribe politicians, to do for lobbyists, to get legislative on their hand. That's the bad side about capitalism, right? When you raise fundraisers to do that kind of things, that does no good for society, but for the greed of the company, right? It funds, it sell people out. People are sell out to these kind of things, right? That's what's wrong with. What's one thing wrong with people? People have the ability to be corrupt, right? Under certain people, right? No, depend who they are, depend on their morals, right? Some people are effed up more than others, so they're proud to be corrupt, right? That's one side about capitalism. Now let's move on. It motivates people to do better. That's one con. The next pros, right? Let me reiterate. The next pros, it motivates people to do better in life, right? It motivates people, period. It motivates people to get themselves out of that slump if they're in a bad position in life. If they're in, like I said, it allows people to lift themselves out of poverty. So it will motivate people to do better, right? To get a job, to contribute to society. That's what I mean when it motivates people, right? China, communism, people are not motivated, right? Going back to my example of a unionized job, right? People are getting paid the same. That means people are not motivated, right? Unionized job is basically like it's like a small form of communism, right? Everybody get paid the same. Small form of socialism, right? Everybody get paid the same. Nobody get raises unless everybody approves getting raises. Everybody go on strike together, right? That's what sucks things about being in a union, right? Right? It doesn't. When you're in a union, you're not motivated to do anything better because you are in that position, right? You already have everything like everybody else have, right? Which is totally contradictory to capitalism, right? When you are in a free market capital economy, it motivates people to do better, to want to be successful in life, right? To be an entrepreneur, right? Now, contrasting that, it could also make people, right? For instance, if you're a fortunate person, you're rich, right? You have money, right? Or you're just a lazy person, right? And you have money, right? It gives you it's a con because it makes you too dependent on other people's labor, right? You could do it yourself, right? You can save time. You have other things to do, right? I understand. The reason why they pay off people to do something for them, right, is to save time, right? Is to save time, save energy because they can focus on other things. But yet again, some people are so dependent on that, right? They're so dependent on cleaning your house, on getting a maid, right? Getting a maid to clean the house because I understand people want to save time, right? That's what people are paying other people to do things for them, right? They want to save time because they got other important things to do. But yet again, if it's a small thing, why you're just basically doing yourself a service because it promotes laziness, right? It promotes laziness because you're too dependent on certain things. Right? You buy a calculator to do math, right? To calculate math for you because you don't want to do it. But again, you're neglecting yourself because now you're not exercising your brain. And what does that do? It says later along in life, you rely on the calculator too much. Now when you don't have a calculator and you really need to do some calculation, you begin to lose all these skills. That's what I'm talking about. When you're too lazy, you lose skills, right? Sure, you get people to go hunt for you, right? But you could go hunt for so you could develop skills on your shooting skills, your accuracy, right? What if There's nobody who's willing to do this thing for you. Now what you have to do? You have to rely on yourself. Right? You have to mow the lawn yourself. What happens if people don't want to mow the lawn for you? You can't find anybody to do things for you. You have to do it yourself. But because you are negligent on certain aspect of your skills, you are inefficient to do certain things. You're inefficient in doing calculations. You're inefficient of target practice. You're inefficient of cleaning because you rely so much on other people's labor. That's one bad thing about capitalism, right? That's one thing about capitalism. It makes you too comfortable. It puts you in comfortable states. That's what it is. It puts you in the comfortable states. Now look at the rich. Something they don't even know how to do for themselves. They don't know how to wash dishes. They don't know how to drive a car because they rely on chauffeurs. They don't know how to do the trivial things, right? They don't know how to go to a grocery shopping if they don't have nobody to buy grocery for them, right? That's what's one downside about capitalism. If you're a very successful person, all right. Now let's move on. It enables people to do good in society, right? If you're a successful person, right, you could be like a philanthropist, right? You could fund things, right? Fund causes that promote societal differences, right? That you think is a good cause, depending on who you are. You could fund projects to go to space or something, whatever you want to do. Fund medical discovery, research in medicals to find cure for cancer or stuff like that. Find cure for diseases, right? Capitalism allows you to do that, right? Now the bad side of that. Let me see if there's any bad side of that. Let me refer back to my list. Is there any contrast to that? The bad side to that it also promotes you to fund bad causes like like social justice warrior causes, like stuff that doesn't help society, stuff to divide people, right? Stuff to destroy society. It could also look in that other aspect as well. Not only that, um, it also enable people to support bad causes, to support drug dealers, to support people who take advantage of people, right? To fund a drug dealer, to fund people's vices, to promote, right? To promote bad things like during the prohibition time, right? Um, no, that's a bad example of prohibition. But prohibition is one thing because it's a free market society. Because of government intervention, it created another market, a black market that promotes degradation to society, drug dealers, and all these stuff. Right. That's one thing about free market economy because it promotes drug dealing. Right. If the government get into it. Right. So it promotes it creates more drug dealers. It promotes all these vices that people have in life, that destroy people, right? Um, Stuff like that. That's one thing it could cause us when it comes to capitalism, right? It promotes people to do bad things. Let's say that, right? But I digress. Let's move on. Improve living condition. I think we already covered that. Improve living condition by people to do better, right? It get people to live in a sanitary conditions by having all these products, by all these innovations, all this stuff. It's all connected, right? About the pros about capitalism. It's all connected. It improve living conditions, right? Or else we'll compare our living condition to Cuba. Who have a better living condition, right? We have a better living condition. Compare our society to a third world society. We have a better living condition. That's what I mean. That's what I mean. It improves living condition. That's a pro right there, right? Um, this is a con, right? Let me read this one. A con is that, right? Okay, all right. This is not a con. Let's go back to the pros. This lead to this pro, right? This pro I'm about to read. It will lead to the con, right? The pros, another pros about capitalism, right? It allowed anybody to participate, right? It doesn't matter who you are, what race, age, sex, whatever you are, right? It don't discriminate. Capitalism allowed people to participate in it, right? It allowed people to participate to get them in a better state in life, right? No matter who you are. right? Depending on who you are as well, depending if you are a master or slave. If you want to participate in the free market economy, most masters and leaders they tend to create their own businesses, right? They tend to create a business, and slave and follower are usually the one who's worked at 9 to 5, right? The people who rather work a job than it is for them to pursue a business for themselves, right? Those are the slave economy. Those are the people that's in the rat race. The people that make hard choices in life. The people that don't know how to make choices in life. The people that don't think of things in a quickness. Don't have problem solving skills, right? Those slaves, right? Those followers. Don't be a follower, right? Because it allows anybody to participate, right? Right? Free market economy. I mean capitalism, right? It allows anybody to participate. But the downside to that, because it allowed people to participate, that means it allowed evil people to participate as well, right? It allowed drug dealers to participate. It allowed criminals to participate. It allowed all these people, right? Because it's not discriminatory, right? It's not discriminatory. It don't care who you are. It allows people to play in the game as well. If you have a slave mindset, it allows you to play in the game too, right? But most slave mindset don't like to play in the game. They like to be told what to do, right? But the main part of this, right? The main part that the reason why I'm such a if I miss something, leave a comment below. If you agree what I'm saying, right? If I miss something about capitalism, what's good about it, what's bad about it, right? Leave a comment below. But to me, the ultimate thing about capitalism, right? The ultimate thing, the reason why I favor capitalism, number one thing about capitalism, right? To me, of all things else, is it promotes freedom. And that's basically what America's all about, freedoms, right? When you're in a free market economy, it promotes freedom. What's more descriptive of freedom than capitalism? Capitalism allowed anybody to participate, anybody to get in the game. It allowed people to promote themselves out of poverty, get themselves out of poverty, right? And that's what freedom is all about. Freedom of choices, right? You get the freedom of choosing what you want. That's the point of freedom. That's the point of America. This is why America are so ingrained in capitalism, because capitalism are also ingrained in freedom. And America is a example of freedom. That's what it is. That's the number one rules above all when it comes to capitalism. It promotes freedom by what I see, right? It promotes freedom to do anything you want to get ahead in life, to not be poor, to be successful in life, right? This is why I'm for capitalism. I'm a capitalist, right? No matter what you are, no matter what you think, I'm a capitalist. I don't care. I'm not communist. I'm anti-communist, anti-socialist, right? Socialism and communism, it doesn't promote people to do good for them. It doesn't promote people to get them off their feet. It promotes people to get lazy. It promotes people to be dependent on the government. It promotes people to be a slave class. That's what socialism and communism is, right? When you depend on the government, it promotes you to be weak. Freedom promotes you to be strong. Capitalism promotes you to be strong. Would you rather be a strong person or a weak person? But that's one thing, the ultimate thing why I favor capitalism, right? But the reason why I did this is to show the difference, right? People don't contrasting anymore. They need to hear the contrast, right? When you are making a compelling, convincing essay, you have to write the pros and cons depending on your points. Right, and this video might make it easier for people to defend capitalism or to go against capitalism. But at the point of that, I want people to be open-minded to see there are good side and bad side about everything. But one thing that makes capitalism a good thing for me is the freedom of it, the nature of it, the freedom it gives to people. That's why I'm so pro-capitalism. Right? But if I miss something, let me know if you agree. I know I missed something. I might miss some good points. I might miss some bad points. I might make some bad points. I might make some good points. Right? If I miss some cons, let me know in the comment below if you agree or disagree. Right? On that note, I appreciate you guys' time. Listen to me. And on that note, guys, like, share, subscribe, and peace and blessing.